In 1973, Vietnam vet Joe DeAngelo got married and was hired as a police officer in Exeter, California, a small community near Route 99, located between Los Angeles and Sacramento. It's my first stop as I retrace the steps of the man alleged to be the Golden State Killer. Farrell, what was Exeter like in the 70s?
It was a nice, quiet town, small. We only had 7 or 8 police officers at that time.
Farrell Ward worked side by side with DeAngelo for 3 years and even had him over for dinner. What were your impressions of him on a personal level, not on a work level?
Well, you know, I got along with him. I mean, it wasn't somebody that you could really make friends with.
Was he polite?
Yeah, he was polite.
Did he have a sense of humor?
No, he was dry as a bone. And when he did come here, we started getting a rash of burglaries all of a sudden.
Those bizarre home invasions in the town of Visalia, less than 15 miles from Exeter, would soon be attributed to a perpetrator labeled the Visalia Ransacker. You can imagine Visalia in the mid-70s, a suburb probably like the one that I grew up in, where the doors were open and kids would run outside and play until their mom called them in for dinner. Then the break-in started here. 1 home one night, 2 homes another night. He got the name the Ransacker, and this place was completely spooked. What do we know of the MO for the Ransacker?
So the Visalia Ransacker in 1974 started doing what we call fetish burglaries in the Visalia, California jurisdiction, where he is breaking into houses when nobody's home. He would go through the women's undergarments. He would go through the victims' photo albums and maybe even take some of the photos out of the albums.
Sometimes he would go through an entire jewelry box, but nothing would be taken. Or if any jewelry at all was taken, it would be 1 single earring out of a set.
At first, the Ransacker would only break into homes when the owners were away. In some instances, he'd even stay long enough to make himself a snack.
We'd find ice cream on the kitchen table, all melted, spoon, everything else. You could tell he'd been there. And for some reason, he had a thing for ice cream.
Between 1974 and 1975, more than 100 houses in Visalia were hit, but there were no real suspects or solid leads. The Ransacker, it seems, was smart, organized, and able to elude capture.
This is not somebody whose primary need was financial. He was really doing it to terrorize other people, to make them feel psychologically scared.
Back in Exeter, DeAngelo was promoted to sergeant and given added responsibilities, including an assignment to the anti-burglary task force, working to solve the same type of crimes he's now accused of committing.
He was smart. He was really educated.
How could you tell he was smart?
Just by the way he talked, by the things that he knew about law. One time I said, "What are you doing here, Joe? You should be with the FBI because you're overqualified."
But what was really going on in DeAngelo's mind? If he was the Visalia Ransacker, like authorities say, was he using the information he received as a police officer to get better at his crimes and evade law enforcement? Although the Visalia Ransacker had been breaking into empty homes, in September 1975, he decided to do something more daring and ultimately more deadly. Roughly 10 miles away from where DeAngelo was working, 16-year-old Elizabeth Snelling was living in Visalia with her 2 brothers and parents, Arlene and Claude.
There was 2 incidences where the suspect was seen prowling around Elizabeth's house.
It was like August of '75. My boyfriend and I were in my bedroom watching TV, and I just said, what if that guy is out there right now just watching us? And I just opened the curtains really fast, and there he was, just staring at me. And he looked in shock, and I was in shock and started screaming, and then my boyfriend and then my dad came out, and they both tried to chase him down. It just seemed more creepy than anything. I didn't think anything would come of that. I wasn't worried.
But she should have been. A month later, Beth's life would be changed forever.
It was about 2 in the morning. I woke up to a man laying on top of me with a ski mask on. And I was very groggy at first, and I was thinking that it was maybe one of my younger brothers. Then when I heard his voice, it was kind of this low, whispery growl. And he said to not scream or he would stab me to death. And he said I was coming with him. That's when I saw the gun. He led me out of the house and he told me to shut up or he would kill me. And that's when I looked in the house and I saw my dad had come through the kitchen. And then I heard just kind of like a loud roar from him. And he charged out of the house. And the guy pushed me on the ground and shot my dad twice. And the guy pointed the gun at me, and I just was crouched in a ball and put my head down and just knew it was going to be over. And instead, he started hitting me in the head with the gun and kicking me, and then he took off running.